Live streaming. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, welcome back to the Brandon K Show. I'm your host, as always, Brandon K. And today we're going to be live streaming. We've been doing more of these live streams for Dealing With Week. We're in the middle of Dealing With Week. And this week, this day, dealing with major life changes with Mr. Rodger.
Hey, Brandon.
Rodger, of course, first guest ever on the Brandon K Show in our topic acceptance, addiction and acceptance.
Yes. Hey, I'm glad that we got modern technology so we can reach out so far away from each other.
That's the really exciting part. Is I was like, I got StreamYard. I can talk to Rodger anytime.
Yeah, it's great.
And you're coming through good. But Rodger, I met you. You came here from Oklahoma, and you lived here for a while, and then you went back to Oklahoma in the last month or so.
Yeah, major life change.
So you're a good candidate for the topic of dealing with major life changes, which is the topic today.
Yeah, it's been a culture shock and a major life change moving back to Oklahoma after 6 months. It's beautiful Southern California.
Yeah. And real quick, because and welcome. There's people coming in. Ask us questions, anything to do with major life changes and how to get through them here with Rodger and me. But I gotta say, Brandon K Show is sponsored by Giftiply. That's the eco-friendly charity wrapping paper you can find on giftiply.com, and it's 33% goes to charity. It goes to a lot of really good causes. So those are really great causes to donate to, and use promo code BK Show for 25% off. Let's see if we got any comments here. Not yet. So, major life changes. How have you been adjusting to life back in Oklahoma?
It's different for sure. I left there. I was in rehab when I was in California. Now I'm back in Oklahoma doing real life stuff, job, therapy, still trying to get to 12-step meetings, living in a different house with different people. And, the weather, not only is the weather different, but the people here are different. It's just, we're trying to make that change, that transition. It's a lot to be on my plate. A lot of this is however much I want to push myself to fix my life. I'm not doing this for anybody but me, and it's what do I want out of it? And then realizing that I got to take baby steps along the way. I in my past have always wanted everything right now, where the house and the job and the car and the friends. But I realized a lot of this stuff, there are little steps to getting to the things that I want.
Somebody said this to me today, and we were talking about this the last time you came on the show too, which is about these baby steps, about just like everything is just like a series of choices to make improvements in our lives. It all just comes down to like the choices we make moment by moment, which are baby steps.
Yeah, so since I moved back, I've sacrificed some things. Like I'm not working out as much as I was, but I'm also working a full-time job. I was working a full-time job before I left, and then taking away some of my gym time, which has kind of been a solace to me in my early recovery. Being able to go to the gym, work out, get those endorphins moving around, and now it's I've had to sacrifice that for a job, and it's not the ideal job, but it is a baby step job. It's a what you would call a get well job.
Get well job, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in my chosen career path, and it's not even a career, but it is provide money, and it works into my schedule perfect. I've had to make that adaptation working from I work from midnight to 8 a.m. and I'm usually a person that goes to bed at 9 p.m. and now I'm up all night.
So when you say it fits into your schedule perfectly, like you mean you changed your whole schedule to fit it in, right?
Well, it fits in because it allows me to do some things during the day while places are open, like therapy and other engagements that I have, where I don't have to take off work to go do those things.
Is it you find it like have you had trouble adjusting to the night shift?
Yeah, this finding time to sleep has really been my hardest part. Getting on a set time schedule for sleep during the day, because some days I will have a meeting at 8 or 9 o'clock, either with a therapist or somebody need me to go do something or help them out or whatever it is. So getting that same routine of when I go to sleep, when I spend time with my friends,
Are you getting
it's
enough?
really.
Are you getting enough sleep, Roger?
I mean, I don't feel like I'm ever going to get enough sleep, Brandon.
Is your sleep suffering? Are you have has it gone down?
No, for the most part, making this transition, a lot of people know uh, they're really supportive of me, so they realize that sleep's important, and they do not press on my boundaries as far as needing of my time. Uh,
Right. So they don't
when I tell
wake you up after when you've only slept 4 hours or something.
no, no,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when I do have an appointment or something like that, I tell people, hey, I work overnights, and they're real punctual and they're real quick about getting to whatever we got topic we got to take care of, and just to get me where I can go back and go to sleep or whatever.
So you came in on the show as like the expert on acceptance. Not that you're the expert, it's expression. So like how has acceptance been? How have you been using acceptance now on your next journey of life here?
The acceptance thing is helped out tremendously on this transition. Without it, I'd be fretting all day long, or I would be ruminating on things that I can't control. And now that I'm to a point in my life where I don't really worry about anything, I don't future trip, and it's all because of acceptance, accepting that this time in my life is temporary, and that these are steps that I'm working towards to get to bigger steps. Currently, I don't have a vehicle. I have a friend of mine allows me to use her vehicle to get to work and back, but I don't have my own vehicle. So I know that this job is a job that I have to use to save money, or to be frugal with money, or to be able to get to that point where I can buy my own vehicle. And from there, I can get a better job because then I'm able to drive out further, uh, and get back into my chosen career. And if didn't have acceptance, I'd be trying to push my will into it, where I would be forcing people or putting people out by asking them to take me to work 20 miles outside of town, or inconveniently like at 5 a.m. where they'd have to get up and sacrifice their own sleep, or the comforts of their life. And that only goes so long, before people are just really put out by you. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to put people out. I don't want to put stress on their friendships just because people want to see me successful or people want to support me, but to what end,
So you did something that is recommended in recovery, which is the only thing that has to change is everything. You did that.
Yeah.
You did that your first time around coming here and then going back. But like, what would be your advice to somebody who is afraid to make that major life change?
Nothing changes unless something changes, stepping out of that comfort zone. Like, if you want change, you have to do something about it. You just can't, there's not a wand that you just wave over everything and things change, and your life gets better, or your life goes on a different avenue. If you don't do anything, about it, somebody else will.
Meaning, like someone, who else will?
Whether it's the legal system,
Mm-mm.
or girlfriends or friends or family, or it depends what cycle you're in.
Yeah.
But if you're in a destructive cycle, it's going to end up being you lose everything because you can't pay your bills, or you go to jail, or you get hospitalized, or people just don't want to be around you anymore. So change is then forced upon you. You don't really
Yeah.
get to call the direction in which that change is going. That direction is made for you.
Yeah, they say like if you don't know where you're headed in life, someone's gonna come in and tell you where you're headed, and whether it's a job or someone else who has a plan, they're gonna. It could be anybody. It could be the girl who's gonna tell you how to live your life, or a job, or some seedy drug dealer is gonna just tell you, oh, you sell drugs for me now. If you don't know where you're going, you're gonna be
Oh,
told, yeah,
somebody will take control of your life, whether you want it or not.
yeah. Where am I
You
going?
know,
Somebody will tell you.
yeah, that's it. Do you want to be under your control or somebody else's control?
That's
Because
for me too. Is just like it's so easy to just go go along with the change with the wind, and just be like, oh, now I like this, now I like that, and maybe this job will work for me, maybe that job will work for me. But then I had to ask myself, what do I want? At what point do you say, what do I want, and then go down that road?
and so humility is also something that's played a big part into major life change. If you've had any degree of success in life, and then all of a sudden you find yourself rebuilding a life, you have to stay humble. You have to realize that this isn't going to last forever. This is just a stepping point to the next point, and do it with grace. You could do it where you bitch and cry about it, or you can do it with energy and positivity. And I think that propels me a lot in life, and in this current situation where at my job, a lot of people don't want to be there. It's midnight to 8.
Mm,
It's manual labor, and it's not even really. It's probably the easiest job a person could do, really. And but it's how I go about doing this job. I go about it with uh, life, trying to do the best I can at it, trying to be the best, better than I was the day before at it. Because there's a quota that I have to maintain every day, and so that's been a fun little deal inside myself. Is like, how much better at this job can I get every day,
yeah,
and
and making the best of where you're at.
making the best where I'm at,
Yeah.
being the best I can at what I'm doing,
Hmm.
regardless of how mundane it is.
Right.
I want to be the best,
Yeah.
and I want to be the best employee. I'm there every day on time or early, like 30 minutes early, because I want to be the best person that I can be in life, no matter where I'm at in life, no matter
uh,
how much I feel like I'm above this job or position.
right.
Uh, that if I fulfill that way, then I need to act that way, and that means by doing it to the best I can be.
Yeah, like for two reasons. One is that self help professionals would talk about how that's what's gonna be the reason that you move up in the company is by giving it your all. But even beyond that, you're building yourself and your skills for your next job. It's like, oh, I used to put 8 hours of hard labor into my last job, and then when you go to your next job, you'll have that same work ethic to build the momentum.
Yeah, and really, where it comes down to, Brandon, is like my happiness is all inside me. My peace, my serenity, uh, my future is all inside of me. How well I want to do or how well I feel about something, I control that. My
Hmm.
happiness, I control that.
Yeah.
Outside factors are just outside factors.
Right.
If I allow them to affect me, my life's going to be hell. If I feel like my happiness is dependent upon my situation or uh, my circumstances or the people around me, that's not. If I
Do
live by that way, I'm gonna be miserable.
do you have some affirmation you tell yourself? Do you say that to yourself throughout the day that your happiness is you know within you, or do you just kind of feel it inside?
I've been down this road of rebuilding my life. This isn't my first go around at it, so I feel God. I have the blessing where God has continued to allow me to make right the wrongs, go down the path again, and try it again and see if I get it right. It feels like that's the God I serve is thing in life is allow me to right the wrongs, try the path again, and see if I can get it right again before I move on to something a bigger responsibility.
And when you're connected with him, that brings you happiness.
It brings me peace.
Yeah.
You know, happiness is just is a piece is a state of mind. It's not a circumstance. I've been happy in jail. I've been happy. Uh, uh, I don't know, in rehab. I've been happy in circumstances that most people would find. People I've been around were miserable, and it's all because it's inside my head. Um, you know, am I at peace? That's what I'm looking for every day. Is my serenity affected? And then if it is, then I try to fix it.
So
And if it is, it's something inside me that's broke.
I'm just framing this because people can watch this on replay, but like Rodger, you know a lot of you are a Christian, and you know a lot about the Bible. You've read the Bible multiple times. And I was going to ask you, as someone who's read the Bible so many times, like, what does the Bible say about happiness?
It doesn't really say much about happiness, Brandon.
No?
No. A lot of it, it does talk about peace a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It does talk about serenity. There are, places in there that talks about happiness, but really,
well, we could tie those together. Is it peace and happiness and serenity are similar? So what does it say about serenity and peace?
That's what you're looking for. You look for wisdom and peace.
Does it say that Jesus will
by doing right?
Does Jesus say? Does it say Jesus will bring the peace by doing right, or how does it? What is it? Can you remember what it says? By doing good.
I mean, it really doesn't. It probably does somewhere, Brandon. But now that I'm on,
put you on the spot, I thought maybe you would know a scripture about peace and Jesus bringing peace, or anything like that, because I don't have any stuff. I'm sure I know that they say what Jesus is the way and the light and the Savior and
the truth.
Yeah.
And yeah, but really, the most I get out.
Was that ever brought up? Everlasting peace?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I've heard of that in the Christian faith.
And peace beyond understanding. And that's a lot of it when you serve Christ, that you will find that peace. And by serving Christ, it's really serving others. I think that's the biggest takeaway from the Bible is getting out of self and serving God. And by serving God, you're serving others. You're humbling yourself and you're doing for others. It's not the all about me attitude. It's about what I can do to life and what I can contribute to it today.
Yeah, kind of like those stories when all the miracles that he worked and how he would accept anybody, even the lepers and the prostitutes. And I mean, those were kind of the stories from the New Testament, correct?
Correct.
Those stories weren't about like, oh, look how great I am. They were kind of like as a blueprint of how we should be living our lives as well.
Yeah, most of the stories, when he would do healings or stuff like that, there's a couple of them where he says, "Do not tell nobody about this. Do not, talk about it." And that was because, that's your reward. Is if you go bragging about it, that's all you're going to get out of it in life. It's just that fleeting moment. You're not storing up that treasure in heaven or any future rewards. When you start bragging about it, that's all you're getting is that one moment of what you did, and it's fleeting.
Yeah, I had that quote. I had that treasures in heaven one quoted to me before, and I want to look it up if you don't have it memorized. Let's see. Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in or steal. It's really beautiful. The moth and rust to point out those worldly issues, which is like you leave something.
Decay.
You leave something sitting there long enough, and it's gonna rust or it's gonna get moths.
Or
And then,
or somebody's going to steal it.
right. So it's kind of like fleeting. It's kind of like talking about like what you were saying. Yeah. Like it's fleeting to just say, "Oh, look what I did." But if you have a treasure in heaven, it's like a way of being, or it's like your spirit, like doing something powerful for your spirit.
Well, I heard Jordan Peterson do a pretty good breakdown on it the other day. That exact same verse, and like he said, your reputation. If you have a reputation for being a jerk, that's not what you're looking for. You're trying to make something that's going to continue to last beyond your life, and part of that is your reputation, your legacy. Things that people can remember about you, people that can remember, and they tell somebody else about it later on. That's what you're aiming for. That you're looking for to be the best person that you can be, and people remember you for that person, and the people after that remember you as that person. I have a pretty good example. My father passed away 19 years ago Monday, and he was a really good guy, and they named a soccer park after him here in the town I live in now, Catoosa. And that's a legacy. That was, something that 19 years after his death, if you look up his name, it sends you to a sports complex here in Catoosa, Oklahoma.
Very touching.
And that's a legacy. That's something that
for his children to go and show their children. That's really legacy.
And far from that, his friends and people that don't even never knew my father. Now, still have his name in their mouth whenever they're going to a soccer game here in town, or a baseball game or whatever. And I think ultimately that's what you're looking for. There's the helping of others, being of service. And then that's part of the reason my dad had that park named after him. He was a firefighter and a councilman and a maintenance supervisor. He contributed to something beyond him. He spent a lot of time working on that park when he was alive, and now it's a legacy.
I got more on that quote about and hey, everybody for watching. We had 2 or 3 people watching live, and you guys can type questions and we can answer them. So that's the fun part about live streaming. But we were talking about this quote about treasures in heaven, and it says there are things of worth in God's coming kingdom. And this is, because I'm not as much a Christian, but a spiritual person. So I like it says the things in God's kingdom are justice, opportunity for everyone to be productive, provision for everyone's needs, and respect for the dignity of every person. Like those are the true treasures in life,
And they really are, Brandon.
For what I'm looking at, I'm not, because that wasn't in Bible quotes, but it was when on Google, what are the treasures in heaven? In Matthew 6:19-21, and then it says treasures in heaven in quotes, and then the rest was not in quotes, but I assume that they pulled that out of there. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, the world of AI, and it's awesome the way they make that connection, because there's more to it than treasures in heaven, I imagine, besides that. But those are four good points. Mm-hmm. That I believe, if you live to help others and serve others, and part of that is dignity, everybody should be treated with dignity. That's the least you can do for a human that's suffering, is to talk to them respectfully, to put yourself in their shoes, to feel how they're feeling, whether they're suffering.
Avoid judgment as much as possible.
Yeah, and at the very least, condemnation. When people are battling drug addiction, mental health issues, or just depravity of any sort, to put yourself where they are and have the compassion to feel like how would I want somebody to treat me if I'm in that same position? That's a lot of it.
That's empathy for sure. I like it says justice, which is an interesting word. What do you think of when you think of justice? I'm gonna look up a.
What I think about justice is being just to somebody, being fair.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to put it, and that is the number one definition, which is just behavior or treatment. And so then you'd have to look up what just means. Let's see, just. But it's interesting. Uh, Based on or behaving according to what is morally right and fair. So perfectly what you
Yeah,
said. So what is
yeah,
just? What is
and that
just? What is
in today's
a breakdown on the word and etymology of the word justice. It's
I
interesting.
think he did pretty good because a lot of people think justice, they think of the legal system,
Right.
and like you
Like
got what you got coming.
in my mind, and because I'm sick, I almost think of like revenge. Like I'm gonna go get justice. I'm gonna go get revenge on somebody. But that's not. It's what's morally right and fair wouldn't be to go back and hurt somebody.
No, what's morally right and fair is doing to others as you want done unto you. You know, I listen to a lot of Jordan Peterson, and he breaks down this, uh, words like that, just and justice, and it's very revealing. And I take it in at work. I listen to him every night. He's coming to the Be Okay Center, which is like uh, on the 21st of April. I think I'm gonna go buy tickets.
Oh yeah, you should. And that's cool. He's coming. He tours all the country.
Yeah, he's on a tour this year,
Oh
50
yeah.
cities in like 6 months.
You know what the topic of his tour is?
I think he's promoting a book.
Okay.
We Who Wrestle with Gods
Oh,
is the topic.
interesting.
Yeah, that's the new book he's got out. I
You
haven't read it yet.
you remember when you were in the studio how like Solomon pulls stuff up? I want to be able to do that on here someday.
Well, you probably can if you get to computers.
No, I know. Oh no, I
I
have a button that I can pull stuff up with on here. It's just
like
you have I don't know. You have to do it. You have to learn how to do it. But yeah,
I listen to Joe Rogan every night too. I try to catch his previous day podcast, and that's he's got Jimmy, or I can't remember the guy's name. I think his name's Jimmy. He's got. Hey, will you look that up for me? And they look
oh
it
yeah,
up.
oh
He's
yeah,
back there on Google all night long.
Jamie.
Jamie, that's it.
Yeah, because Solomon's like, oh yeah, I'm the Jamie of this operation.
It's cool though.
Super cool. When I get stuck on something and he helps me out with pulling something up, it's helpful, and then I don't have to sit here and Google stuff. But yeah, we who wrestle with God. So I don't know. Is it about agnostics? We agnostic.
Uh, so I think he took that uh, out of the Genesis story where who was it? Jacob wrestled with God, and he ends up hurting his hip, and then his name gets changed to Israel, and Israel is we who wrestle with God. Is what it breaks down to.
It's a powerful phrase. I would like to get to the bottom of what it means, but yeah, it's very. Let's see. Jordan Peterson has been canceled so many times that he was recently the keynote speaker at a disinvitation dinner in New York City, but efforts to silence him clearly aren't working, as the controversial psychologist and author just announced a 51 city tour in conjunction with his forthcoming book, We Who Wrestle with God. A professor at University of Toronto, Peterson is the author of 3 books, Beyond Order, 12 Rules of Life, and Maps of Meaning, and he is a contributor to the Daily Wire, conservative media company, but he is equally well known for his podcasts and controversial statements on social media. He rose to prominence after challenging a Canadian law that he said would criminalize the use of the wrong pronouns for a transgender person, and he was temporarily suspended from Twitter for a post about a transgender actor. Those are kind of his claims to fame, unfortunately. and
No,
then
I
just
mean, so here's where the misconception is with Jordan Peterson, and
mhm,
that he's not anti-trans, he's not anti uh, pronouns, he's anti-government telling him what words he can use and can't use,
I understand.
and that's the misconception. It's not that they give him the choice of what he can do; they're telling him what he has to do, and the thought that well, that you're telling me what words I have to put in my mouth,
Right. I
and that's huge that somebody wants to fight for our freedoms like that.
I've heard his take on everything, and I believe that we can learn from everybody on all sides. Oh, we lost Roger. Let's see,
No, you
but
didn't.
it says it's a controversial subject, so and I have family who would be vehemently against Jordan Peterson. So, but for that reason, I'll just say that I do learn things from Jordan Peterson, and I feel like he has things to say that are principles from the Bible that are helpful. But yeah, not everyone's perfect, and I just am avoiding that subject at this moment. But it says it's not yet known what the new book will be about, but the title suggests religious themes. And Peterson, and then so he's in the Christian world, he's in the educational world, and he's speaking his truth, and I'll just say that I've learned things from him, and I'm also pro pro all LGBTQ issues. I'm an ally to the LGBTQ community. So I mean, I only have love and
Yeah,
tolerance for everybody,
love
Christian,
and tolerance.
Christian, and non-Christian, and everybody. I try to practice love and tolerance for everybody.
Yeah, and I believe that we just talked about that dignity for all, and
That's it.
I
Go to
really
the
believe that.
You go to the
I'm
actual words in the Bible, and all you do is pull out principles of being kind and just to everybody. So I mean, eh, eh, how people choose to live their lives individually can vary, and but yeah, if you go to the word, it says, yeah, there's justice, opportunity for everyone to be productive, provision for everyone's needs. Everyone means everyone, and their
yeah.
needs means everyone, and their need is to be recognized and treated with respect. So
And I'll say this, and at least for the Christian, my Christianity, the Jesus Christ I know from reading Scripture, I believe that Jesus Christ loves the trans just as much as he loves me, as he loves the priest, as he loves the preacher. That's he come here for the sick, he come here for the broken, the downtrodden, and you know that includes everybody.
no question
You know,
whatsoever in my mind on
no
that.
question whatsoever. And that's usually where the division is because if it's ignorance on a lot of people's part of what true Christianity is or what Jesus' true teachings were. Like you said, he didn't come here for the able-bodied. He didn't come here for the people that were sound of mind. He come here for the people that were broken. And you, if you're trans and you're happy, I'm happy for you. But obviously you've went through something in your life that has caused some brokenness in you and some problems. And the things have changed, and the suffering that you at the hands of others. And so you probably need Christ as much, and He would have fought for you just as much and loved you just as much as He does the preacher, or more so.
We're all in the same boat. I mean, I don't know. I think that's how I see it. Is we're all equal and in the same boat. So we all
Yeah,
gone through what we go through, and to try to understand each other is what Jesus would be here doing, and what he would be guiding us to do if you listen to the word of the Bible, I believe.
yeah, without a doubt. I know so. I'm a drug addict. I'm a recovered drug addict. He didn't give up on me. I felt his hand in my life, and I continue to feel his hand in my life. And it's not because of anything except for giving my will over to him every day to guide me in the proper way, to be kind to others, to be tolerant, which is something that I learned from my sponsor in AA. Was big. It's about tolerance, and tolerance takes on many forms in different places that you're at. And it's one thing I'll say about Southern California and my exposure to it is that I got to practice tolerance because of the many, the many different
people that,
it was a different exposure to different demographic and
cultures, ages,
different cultures,
sexes, gender,
all that.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for it, and I'll forever be grateful for it, because in Oklahoma, I'm living on the cultures that I'm exposed to, and that's nothing against Oklahoma. It's just that it's just what it is.
What is it? I mean, what is the demographics in Oklahoma?
Mostly Hispanic, white, and Native American, and African American, or that's it. There's not a bunch of Asians. There's not a bunch of transgenders.
Okay.
Of course, it's the Bible Belt.
Now, not that you have the answer to this question, but so transgenders exist across the whole earth, but do you think that they're just there's not as much acceptance there? I mean, I think that would be, is that
I'm not going to touch on that, Brandon.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to look up if the laws and touch on and see what kind of, how they're treated and everything. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to answer that question, but
I don't know how they're treated. I don't know. I just, until I got to California, I had limited exposure.
Right.
A lot of that stuff, and even in California, I didn't have it. It's only 1% identify with that, that alphabet deal. And so if you think about 1%, that's not very many people, Brandon.
It is actually a lot of people, but it's just when you add it all up, because if there's 8 billion, 1% of 8 billion people is a lot of people.
How many people got in America?
Million. I mean, hundreds of millions. So let's say there's 100 million, and that means there's at least 1 million transgender. If there's 500 million, then there's 5 million. So I mean, it's a lot of people, but it's a small percentage of our
of our population. Yeah.
Population. Yeah.
But that identify, everybody's got. Such a subject.
Yeah. I know, man. We keep getting on this.
Get back off that. Get off of it, Brandon.
We're two what they call cis white men, so we don't have a lot to say about the whole deal.
Not without getting censored.
Right. So that was just interesting. That's what you open up with the Jordan Peterson thing, but because even the article that was written was starts off with that, and I honestly, no joke, I just started listening to him for what he was saying. I didn't know about all the transgender stuff until later, So it's kind of when you hear somebody's message, when you hear a song on the radio, you don't know their politics until you research them. So
well, here's the deal. If I would make this suggestion. Here's a lot of women, a lot of people that are would identify as liberal or progressive or postmodern or whatever, anything other than conservative. If they would just take the time to listen to some of the stuff, they would find a connection there, and they would find some information that is very helpful and very momentive. His stuff is very motivating. And it could help you with your life, really.
Yeah, and
because the politics aside, and I will say this one more time: his big deal was the government telling him what he can say and what he can't say, and that's the big deal. And that right to that freedom of speech is for everybody. It's not, you know.
Well, I did hear the counter argument because I was coming from the same place, and I did hear the counter argument, which is he was working at a school, and in that environment, um, it would be professional to probably call people what they want to be called and not single them out in ways that they don't want to be singled out. But that's the counter argument. You don't even have to respond to it, but I just wanted to put it out there on the show. So
That's for Jordan to argue, not me.
exactly. Well, it's crazy because it's been like 10 years and he's just sitting there, and I think he's moved on. I don't ever hear him talking about it anymore. I don't.
No, he's moved on.
Yeah, writing his books about what he cares about, and then people could still bring up his fight of how he in the past. So.
Yeah, we've all had our own struggles with moving on from our past and overcoming things that were, he probably. I can say this, there's beliefs that I had from 10 years ago, but I don't live in that same belief anymore.
Yeah.
I've moved on from it, and if it's drawn out, I might feel that, I might bring it back up and still feel that certain way, but I've probably moved on 10 years. Let's think 2014. Yeah.
So when it comes to the Bible and Jordan Peterson and any politician or public figure, I try to focus on what I can learn from them, and what are the things that are true, whether a Christian says them or an atheist says them. What is true? What is the truth? So I mean, that's me well. That's what I'm most focused on, and what I would, I mean, just to learn tolerance, because tolerance has been a major topic on the show today. To learn tolerance, I feel like finding what's the truth is more important than my side and your side.
Did you lose something?
I did, yeah. No, I found it though.
What is it?
It's a beautiful blue stone. If Jeff Jaw was watching, this means
What is it?
It's a blue shard.
Of what?
Oh,
I mean, is there like a name for it?
No, it's like a crystal. I don't know exactly. It's probably like a quartz, like a blue quartz, I would guess, but I don't know.
It's beautiful.
It's very important.
Why? Tell me it's important. What's its importance? Does it carry the?
Well, I have a whole. I have my screen name is the Blue Shard, one of them. So it's like a portal.
A portal, huh?
Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I'd like to say something. That's what I try to. I don't try to focus on the politics of others. Hell, I haven't voted in 20 some odd years, Brandon. I don't care. I care about politics, but limited because I don't even have a voice.
Yeah.
Due to my felonies and my record, and so who am I to get into politics? Because I'm not participating.
Right.
But I do like to take away what I can from everybody.
I know that about you. Appreciate that.
There's something that somebody's got that I want, and if you don't have the tolerance to humble yourself long enough to listen to what somebody's got to say, no matter where they're coming from, whether it's a sexual orientation you don't agree with, or a culture that you're not familiar with. If you don't have enough humility and enough tolerance, you're selling yourself short. And I'm tired of selling myself short. I want to get everything I can out of this life and to get the takeaway from whoever I can, because I want to be better. I want to be more tolerant. I want to be more understanding. I want to be more compassionate. I want to be more emphatic. And the only way I can do that is through tolerance, humility, and exposure to things I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, because we were talking about the Bible. We were talking about, judge not, lest ye be judged. So the opposite of judging is tolerance. So it's just like you're not doing yourself any favors by judging someone else. And I made a lot of videos about that, and I made on my Instagram, and hopefully talked about it here on the show, which is just when I'm judging someone else, I'm telling I'm that same judgment is going to come back on myself at some point. Whatever I'm
Yeah, that's
whatever I'm judging in someone else, it comes right back to me.
the Bible. The Bible has a scripture for it. Often misquoted or taken out of context, but judge not, ye be judged. And then that's the one everybody uses,
Mm-hmm.
or tattoos on them or whatever. But you go further in it, it says, because with the same judgment in which you judge, you will be judged. And that's important,
Right.
because if you're judging somebody with a strong hand, you better be ready for that same judgment to be passed on you, or that same measure of judgment.
Oh yeah.
We judge every day, Brandon. You have to judge. You have to. We've talked about this judgment deal, but it's
Right.
the condemnation and it's the takeaway from it. When I judge somebody, how do I feel about it after I've judged them or deemed them good or bad, or worthy or not worthy of my time, or listening to them, or anything? You have to judge spirits around you, or you're going to put yourself in a position where you're either robbed or taken advantage of, or uh, being around people who are going to drain you mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to judge. I mean, that's one thing, but it's with that judgment in which you either condemn them, or
Right.
uh, put them in a box
Right.
from your judgment.
Right.
That's a whole nother deal.
Yeah, you could. It's all. A lot of this stuff comes down to semantics, but it's like you can make judgments about somebody, but not condemn. Like if you took judgment into the word condemn and say, okay, I can make judgments. That doesn't mean I'm judging you, but it means that I'm making judgments that inform who I hang out with and who I trust. Those are judgments, but they're
Yeah,
not nations. And I can love somebody and not hang out with them all the time, or let them into my car if I think they're going to rob me, or
yeah, like
$100 if I think they're going to go buy drugs, or
you have to, but that don't mean you can't continue to show tolerance and love.
you can love everybody.
You know,
Everybody's
uh,
lovable. Everybody is
I
equal.
don't, I don't, no, I don't know if everybody's lovable.
Well, I guess not.
There's been many times in my life, Brandon, that I was not very lovable.
Yeah, well, if somebody's always doing bad stuff, they're going to be hard to love, but some part of them, some deep spiritual part of them is lovable. I mean, you could love them for their sickness. I think I've learned to do that, is to be like, oh, what a sad, sick person. They're just out there, and they just started harming people and ended up in jail, and that's how they spent their life, was just in this sick cycle. It's like you can pity them and feel love and compassion for them, I feel.
Yeah, because we all share the same condition, the human condition. And you can. That's the one thing we have in common, is that we all are human. We all come from a woman. We all,
Ah,
you
that's
know, that there's that, and we can always share that, and that's always common ground, and we
yeah.
should build on. You
Wow.
know
Wow.
what?
It's a spiritual truth. We all came from a woman. It's awesome.
It's kind of hard to, like. Yeah, we were all birds.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we got to be grateful for our mothers for having having us. I know not everybody has good relations with their mother, but we're all from
She
a
gave
woman.
you life.
She gave me life. I'm grateful for my mother. She gave me life, and I have much love and gratitude for what my mother taught me, and our experiences we've shared together. So, and I have my tattoo on my arm that I like to share, and this is dedicated to my mother. She taught me about the Beatles and Alice in Wonderland, and I wouldn't be who I am today without my beautiful mother.
Yeah, that's the truth of it, Brandon. So,
but that's just to say, yeah, to respect women and to respect the human condition.
yeah, I like Joe Rogan said he was talking about women. I think it was one of the stand-ups, and he's like, "You all gave birth to 8 billion people.
Oh,
You make all the people."
made all the people. Wow, that's like blowing my mind. I don't know why. I just don't think about it all the time. But it's
It's hard to yeah, when he said it, like, you make all the people. I'm like,
you made all.
it's a yeah. So women have a huge responsibility. They make all the people. But
So, Rodger left.
life.
So we got 3 people watching, which is awesome, but no one really sent us any questions. So with that, unless any questions pop up, or I'll check Facebook real quick. Maybe I can see if anybody posted any. But any final thoughts, my friend?
Major life changes.
Major life.
You know, I still believe nothing changes unless you change it. We took that away from it. What else? Yeah, if you don't steer your ship, somebody else is going to.
I like that.
So, and staying in the moment. I think that's a lot with the major life changes. Is not in my life today. I don't future trip. I don't start thinking outside of where I am today and where I am going to be tomorrow. Just day by day deal, and that has helped me so much in this last transition for this last month. So I don't get overbeared by thinking about what if, and I stay in today. Like today, I'm going to get to work. Today, I'm going to sleep, and today I'm going to do this. And I don't think about tomorrow
And I
too much.
liked what we brought up before the show started, which was being surrounded by supportive people. It's very helpful to major life changes of any kind. It's going to be a lot harder if you don't have supportive people around you.
Yeah. So, and here's one thing in this major life change. And I started implementing this about 6 months ago, where if you had negativity or if you had anything from my past and uh, going into my future, I've decided that I don't want you in it if you are not supportive. And that has helped so much in this transition. I'm in the same place that I was right before I went to rehab. Like I'm sitting in the same house. I didn't get high here, but uh, I'm in the same town I've been getting high in for 30 years. But today, I don't talk to the same people I used to get high with. I don't go to the same places I used to go. I have a casino right down the street from me. I haven't been to it yet. Been here a month.
Yes.
And because I know those are things that they're not going to help me push forward. So, people, places, and things, of course, in your major life changes. If you want the positive stuff, you've got to weed out the negative that held you back in your past, and that's going to keep you being the person you want to be in the future. So nothing against the people in my past. They were there at that moment for whatever reason, whether it was to propel me forward to not want to be around people like that anymore, or if it was just to maybe help them propel themselves into sobriety. Whatever the reason, that doesn't mean I have to put you in my life today. And I'm not going to go out of my way to go put myself back in the same place as I was, because I'll just get the same results.
Yeah.
That's what I've taken away from it. So people are really supportive of me today. They really, I have boundaries. And that's huge in my change today. And I'm really happy with what progress I've made. I got back here and I found out, I've got my driver's license back since, and that was from somebody who supported me. They actually gave me money to get my driver's license back. And then just little things like that make a big difference in my life today.
Oh yeah. And I try to remember that even if you're in the exact same place, like, if I was living where I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, that I'm not the same person. So like you could take everything away from me and put me somewhere with not much, but I'm gonna have all the experience and knowledge up in my head where I can make a new start wherever I am, you know.
Yeah, and that's I've made many new starts, and you know, God has put me back on this path again to do what I need to do to push forward. Uh, does this plan look like I thought it would? Even a month and a half ago? No, it doesn't look exactly like I planned, and that's why I don't future trip. I don't get on to the uh, what about this? What about that? Because I found out that's all pointless. Um, all that does is just get me stressed out, worried, and puts in a lot of things that I don't need in the moment.
Yeah, what I've learned is the key word is patience, because being impatient and trying to rush things doesn't really help a lot. So we got to just be accepting and patient with where we're at for these major life changes, whatever I'm going to tackle next. Patience is definitely required, you know. I launched this little podcast here, and I don't even have 150 subscribers yet. So it's like it's going to take patience before I'm able to really do it full time or something, you know. But it's like I can't just be like I used to literally in 2012 be like, "Oh, no one's watching. I'm not going to make it anymore." It's like who's that going to help, you know?
Yeah, it does. It's slow and steady wins the race,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of it is just doing it day by day, grinding it out, and those doors will open. Those subscribers will come. Those,
We
and
got
if it was me,
people watching right now, and that's 3 more than I had last time, you know? So,
yeah. If people aren't, you just have to be. You just keep grinding it out, Brandon.
just
And if
grind.
it was meant to be, if it's meant to be, it'll be meant to. Doors will continue to open.
It's all
If
about
it's not,
it's all about that attitude and that BEAR cycle we talked about, and the belief that something good's going to happen, and you know, just stick with what you're doing, and you know, it's all about the attitude, mindset.
yeah. I think it's like, what does it say? That's the one thing you can control is your attitude. That's life is 90% attitude, 10% circumstances,
And
and
I think it takes effort and hard work to be able to work on your attitude also. Like I used to have a bad attitude and not even have much control over it.
it just if you're negative, you'll get negative things. I really believe in that. That the power of positivity. People have written books on it, and people talk about it, but I have seen the power of positivity in my life, and every day it continues to help me. I went to work yesterday, and one of my supervisors, she was like, I don't know how you do it every day, but keep doing it. And I thought, I'm not doing it. And that was before work even started. And she was just talking about, I realized she was talking about my positive attitude. Like I'm there. I'm excited. You know the kind of energy I bring. I'm excited,
Sure,
about
you
life.
said you showed up early and probably had a smile on your face, and she's like, "That's more than some people here do," you know. I bet.
Yeah, I'm jacked up to go do this job,
Yeah, hey,
you know.
that's an inspiration, and you know, a lot of the stuff you said today is a great inspiration to me.
Well, I love you, Brandon. I miss you. Hopefully I get out to California sometime in the next year or so. I'd like
We'll
to at
get
least
you
come
back
see
on
you.
the show. We'll get you back on the show soon, and we're gonna finish up dealing with week with trying to get somebody to talk with trying to get someone to talk to me, my cousin to talk to me about rejection tomorrow, Patrick. We're gonna do dealing with rejection and try to do a suicidal thoughts episode and a trauma episode. So dealing with week, which is a 2 week event, is going strong. And thank you for joining me, Roger. We'll have you on soon, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Love you. Bye.